Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with more Devil May Cry 5. I love these fucking menu screens, by the way.
I love when you leave a session and when you're loading back into the game, you just see them chilling out in the van.
Yes. It gives the game a fun atmosphere, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like in a post-Persona 5 world, people are more aware of this than they used to be, but having a nice atmospheric title screen or menu screen really adds to the experience of a game. And like, games can, it's really fun when games figure out clever ways to use that. I think one of my all-time favorites is Trails of Cold Steel 2, which not only adds party members to the title screen as you recruit them, but also changes the location they're chilling out at depending on where you're at in the game. So you get all sorts of different title screens as you play through the game. There's a compilation on YouTube that shows them all in sequence if you happen to be curious about it. But
Kitty doesn't even get a model.
The bottom line is that when Trails of Cold Steel 3 went to a budget title screen with just still images of the anime concept art, it hurt my soul. Okay, we have another Devil Breaker.
What do you got for this one? The punchline. Waka waka.
Oh, punchline is the rocket fist. And Helter Skelter is the drill arm. I'm probably going to use Helter Skelter once or twice to show it off. Or just when I happen to pick one up in the middle of a mission. But punchline is the real champion here.
I do recall getting a lot of use out of the rocket-propelled fist because it just does a lot of damage.
The rocket-propelled fist is great because not only can you surf around on it for, like, really kick-ass mobility, but it fights on its own. It attacks an enemy and just rapidly circles around to punch them multiple times. The downside to Punchline is that because its basic attack lasts so long, it's really easy to lose it. Because that widens the window where if you get hit, your Devil Breaker explodes. I don't know why it explodes when it's not connected to you, but it explodes. I guess Nero just loses it because he's not there to catch it when it comes back. I love that you have the option to try stuff out in the training void before you buy it, by the way. You can do this
I think that was a DMC4 feature, I want to say, right? Or was that this game?
I don't think DMC4 let you try stuff out in the void, but it did have little, like, videos.
The reboot. The reboot let you do that, too.
Did it? Or was that definitive?
Yeah. No. Well, I don't remember if it's definitive or not, but it is in the version of the game I played. You could try out stuff.
I don't remember that. I think it did have a training mode at some point, but I'm not remembering if it was in the original game or not. This also means that all you combo video creators have infinitely durable enemies to practice your combos on and to show them off, because it is a little awkward when you want to show off like a really kick-ass 57-hit combo and the enemy dies halfway through and it's like, fuck.
Fuck.
You can't really do that stuff on must die mode because
wait a goddamn minute. Nero, you're too young to do the film reel motion. You don't know what that means. You saw someone else do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I don't know. Fortuna Island seemed like a pretty old-fashioned place. He might have been raised on some pretty old stuff.
I'm gonna send you a telegram. What the fuck is a telegram?
Make love to the camera. Woo! Work it. Yeah.
I love that taunt.
That man's never filmed a movie in his life.
Well, it would be more of a photo model thing than a movie thing, wouldn't it? With the specific phrases that he was saying, anyway.
Well, he's combining both, which makes me think that he saw someone online do it. thought it was interesting. It's like, yeah, I could totally do that to the next demon I see.
Probably.
He's definitely the guy that will fucking like play chess, but then say king me. Like, you've never played this before ever in your life, have you?
Nero in Devil May Cry 4 gave off the energy of that delinquent kid living in a rural town who just does not gel with anything local and is absolutely on board with anything that feels like he's getting a taste of the city life.
Yeah, well, he has headphones. Like, he tunes out society by wearing headphones when he's not in the middle of work.
Yeah. Which
at first I thought they were going to go like, I forgot what the fucking name of the anime was. I think it was Black Lagoon. The main girl, she does that. Like, when she's getting ready to like go to work and like fucking blast motherfuckers with her gun, she puts her headphones on because she drowns out the noise of the music.
Also, the Persona 3 protagonists do the same thing. That's why they got those those headphones dangling off their character. The opening cutscene, they're just listening to really loud music as they walk through the city to where they're going.
I can't believe P3 is such a DMC4 knockoff.
It's actually like one of the lines that got cut from Portable because it didn't work with the female protagonist at all. Is Pharaoh's saying something along the lines of you can't cover your ears and you can't close your eyes and cover your ears. It was a knock on not only the protagonist's headphones but also the fact that his hair covered one of his eyes. So it's like he was blocking out the world entirely.
I gotta shake the cobwebs out. I'll let you know.
Nico.
Hey, you got any more questions? Better ask it now. I can't read minds.
Nico.
Ooh, well, yeah.
Nico.
That's my name.
My favorite thing about Nico is that she really enjoys messing with Nero. Like, she is constantly messing with him, and he lets her get under his skin so much. It's actually kind of cool to have a DMC protagonist sidekick who really like is like they're like really even. They're on even terms socially with the main character. Like with Dante, Lady, and Trish, it's more like there are points at which the other two get one up on him for a little bit, but he's still the best fighter. And they're mostly just rolling their eyes when he does the silly shit. Nico is there for the silly shit, and she is playing right along. There is a maximum number of gold orbs that you can actually buy from the shop, and I think it tops out at 3. The thing is, I almost never buy gold orbs from the shop because I'm always over that limit from just the free orbs that they give you. It's a little funny that they even have.
I think again, Resident Evil comes to mind, where Resident Evil 4, you can buy first aid sprays from the merchant, but only in limited quantities.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot that they added the ability to do that. They took away the ability to buy ammo. Ugh.
Yeah, well, but also like, if you played your cards well enough, you rarely needed to buy the first aid sprays from the merchant.
Yeah. He says move out, and she's just, the fuck? Yeah, that's me at the beginning of work day.
Who are you waving to?
She's waving to Nero.
No, but who are you waving to? You said that's what you do. I was like, oh, cool. Who are you waving to?
Well, I'm not waving, but I'm just
giving someone the finger.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is the area I was talking about, where there's actually a lot of shit you can find in this general area before you have to go back to the linear sewer tunnels.
One thing I will say is a bit of a downgrade from DMC is the way they use grapple points. It felt like it had more flow in DMC than it does in 5. Here it's a weird, awkward middle ground between DMC 5's grapple points and DMC 4's, which were not good.
No, I recall not enjoying those in the game proper. Especially for the one in particular where you had to like chain like 5 of them to get up. Like a wall or some other shit. Oh no, I'm thinking of one particular spot where you needed to do that in order to get a blue orb.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much of a pain in the ass as some of the grappling shenanigans you had to do in 4, but it's still got some of the DNA and some of that DNA in there, and I really wish it didn't.
DNA 5.
Devils never
ascertain.
Oh, no, that doesn't work. That really doesn't work. Yeah. Whatever.
Think I'll handle the closer one first. Gotta start somewhere.
The Clyfoth, that's what the tree is called. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's got some mythological roots.
Eh.
I don't remember exactly
Well,
what.
isn't... Yeah, was that a pod?
Huh?
It's got mythological roots. It's a tree. We were wondering if that was on purpose.
No?
You should have just said yeah. Oh, Lewis, yes, which is a way of words.
But, yeah, I forget where it's from. I used to know this. Because...
Isn't it just like... I remember, if I recall correctly, I might be misremembering. I thought like it was supposed to be like a demonic play on like the Dristle tree. What the fuck was it called? The Tree of Life.
I don't know about that. I think Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, thank you. Yeah, I'm rusty with my mythology.
I think Yggdrasil and Clyphos come from different mythological sets.
Let's see.
But I'm also not sure. It's one of those things I used to know, but I haven't researched it in so goddamn long that it's completely slipped my mind, unfortunately.
Well, while the reasonable thing would be to just fucking Google it, because we're always at computers. I don't feel like it.
Okay. I'll
Do it yourself, chap.
Clyphos. Okay.
Oh, it's Hebrew.
Oh,
yeah. In the Zohar, Lurianic Kabbalah and Hermetic Kabbalah, the Clyphoth are the representation of evil or impure spiritual forces in Jewish mysticism, the opposites of the Sephiroth. Oh, so it's from the same mythological source as Sephiroth, okay. Yes.
Well, Sephiroth, I believe, is the term.
Well, yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have to remember that because fucking Final Fantasy 14. That's the name of the fiend. They just call him Sephiroth. It's like they forgot the age. It's like, no, this is what's originally called. Oh, that's a tree.
I think Sephiroth, as a name variant, arose from translation funniness.
Yeah, I believe Genova is also stems from the same issue.
Ow! You're gonna humiliate me like that, man?
That fist is going to work, though. Like, it really is just going to work.
You just gotta remember not to let yourself get hit while it's detached. Otherwise, it's not gonna last very long. Did you see that guy? He jumped up and got hit by Punchline just as he was about to hit the edge and just flopped back down. Nope. Nope.
So because of, like, just how engrossing and engaging the battle themes are in this game, do you ever, like, consider just, like, how long can I stay in C rank so I can get most of the song before I transition into the A rank, and then transition into the S rank to properly play the song out?
Nah, I don't do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone did. When you play the battle themes on a soundtrack file, they seem longer than they need to be, but the real reason for that is that they have different phases for different ranks. So you're always hearing a different part of the song, depending on how good.
There's only some aspects of the song though you can only hear in game. And I'm reminded of Virgil's theme, Bury the Light, where the A rank part of the song is something you only hear in game because it's basically just a transition before it gets to the lyrics. But you don't hear that in the official soundtrack version of it.
Ah.
It's actually really cool because like the Virgil's A rank transition it just sounds like it's encouraging you to just keep going because you're about to reach the best part of the song.
Although, considering how easy it is to reach S rank as Virgil,
yes.
you're probably not going to hear it much.
Immortal storm is a fuck. I want to hear the beginning of the song.
Man, the soundtrack in DMC5 is aces. Like,
yeah,
I like the other soundtracks in the series. They're really good. Even DMC2 has that claim, you know. Feather in its really shabby.
I'll take your word for it because I do not recall 2 soundtrack at all.
It's the kind of soundtrack that you kind of have to listen to outside of the game, honestly, because the game just melts your brain and makes it impossible to enjoy anything. But, you know, DMC5's soundtrack is just like, they went hard on this soundtrack.
Yeah.
On both the atmospheric pieces and the hard, like, energized pieces. So good.
Because you think about it, like, you know, I know this is kind of like a Hail Mary reference, but you think of Sonic Unleashed, right? And maybe I got Sonic Unleashed in the brain because of the PC recomp. But everyone decried the fucking battle theme because it played every goddamn where you fought things. And by technicality, this game does that too. The thing is that they play it smart by, you know, making it dynamic and depending on your rank, so you never really get tired of it because no part of the song goes on overly long. Also, the songs are just much better.
Yes.
Well, all of the Devil May Cry games had battle themes that would play every time you were in a fight, or almost every time you were in a fight. Sometimes they wouldn't because it was a really small fight, and the game designers realized, you know, let's not break up the musical flow here. But there were also multiple battle themes. Like in Devil May Cry 1, you had a couple different battle themes. You also had a specific set of battle themes for when you were playing as Sparta rather than Dante. Yeah. They're actually kick-ass battle themes. And DMC3 did the same thing. Multiple different battle themes depending on where you were in the game. Different battle themes for Dante and Virgil. DMC4 Special Edition does the same thing.
I still say Devil's Never Cry is probably my favorite one out of the pre-5 battle themes.
That was
Dante's thing in 3, right?
Yeah.
I think Devil's Never Cry. Wait. Are we talking about a battle theme or the main theme of the game?
The battle theme from 3.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's what Lewis is getting at, because I think Devil's Never Cry was technically Dante's main theme of DMC3, but it wasn't necessarily a battle theme.
Okay.
You might be mixing up titles, because if you're thinking of the main battle theme of DMC3, I don't remember what it was called, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that.
Okay.
Which is not to say that theme is still incredible. Like, I do love Devil's Never Cry. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the music in DMC3 was great as well.
I said the theme in DMC2 was incredible, Nero. Open your ears.
I mean, we've skipped DMC3 for the time being, but I do want to stress that DMC3 is extremely well put together in terms of a narrative action gaming experience. Which is to say, the story isn't going to blow your mind with its plot or themes, but it is very well put together in the sense that all the individual parts and pieces harmonize really well.
Yeah, they fucking the main director or developer of the game, starting with 2, really wanted to apologize after the way 2 came out. But it's not his fault, though, to be fair, because like he was thrown into that project in the state it was that it had like 6 months to clean it up.
Not the last time that happened, from what I understand. DMC also had an intervention partway through development because what Ninja Theory was putting together just wasn't working. Well. This series has a really awkward development history, but when it's good, it is very good.
Yeah.
I like the fuck.
I don't know why I was like, that wasn't very elegant. You do like the regal bow, and like you invite them to the fun house, and then rocket fist.
Well, the enemy fell to the ground the moment Nero did his "Shall we dance" taunt. The enemy just flopped onto their back, and I'm just like, rocket fist.
Shall we dance? I don't want to.
Gaming Brit in his videos on Devil May Cry made a fun point about the way Devil May Cry's combat works, and it's that like because of the amount of personality that's in all of the animations and movesets, you can craft combat stories every time with every encounter. Just little action scenes that, you know, always a bit unique. And when you're fighting as Nero, or when you're fighting as Dante, or when you're fighting as V, the personality injected in the movesets, it always makes it feel like you're fighting as that character, which I think is an aspect of action game design that a lot of developers undervalue. Ooh.
If we had to, on the topic back of battle themes, though, I think we've all like already at least alluded to or stated that Bury the Light is probably our favorite one. But like, where do you stand on the other character themes like Nero, Dante, and V?
Nero is my second favorite. I'd say V's my third favorite, and then Dante's my least favorite in this game.
Dante's battle theme is a bit awkward because they did one version of the song with a different vocalist.
Yeah,
it was extremely screamy, too much so. So they redid it with different vocals because people didn't like it in the trailer.
Okay, so I was wondering if it was one of those that was a changeover from the original release of this game and not special edition.
Nah, it was changed before the original release. Special edition really just added some visual options like ray tracing or whatever, and the Virgil DLC, which you didn't even need special edition for because you could just buy the DLC individually. Actually, I thought that was fairly cool. You didn't need a whole new edition of the game to experience Virgil. You could just buy the Virgil DLC and have done with it.
Yeah, because I think like through patch updates, the game just becomes special edition, like under the hood. You can just, but you have to buy this DLC separately. Like, assuming you don't update it, like I don't remember, no, because I started with special edition. I do not have the OG release.
Well, under the hood, a lot of the stuff added in special edition was performance related.
Okay.
I think they did add a turbo mode, but you know that's also a performance related thing when you think.
Have you ever played that turbo mode in any of the games?
I'm not super fond of turbo mode myself, but I'm also somewhat mediocre when it comes to skill. A lot of people swear by turbo mode though because of how much faster paced the game becomes.
Which is weird to me because I think the game is already fast paced. Like, you know,
it feels pretty fast paced, but when you actually play in turbo mode, it's like everything is a lot snappier.
Right, and I guess it's because like it just leads to a larger dopamine rush, right? Which is why people like swear by it because it just like how fucking fast it moves compared to normal gameplay. I also feel it's, and this is old man John speaking here, a generational thing. Because it reminds me of a thing that a lot of like younger folks tell me that they do nowadays, where they'll watch videos at like 2 times speed, or at least 1.5 times
I don't
speed.
get that, honestly, but that's just me.
I don't either, because I'd be too distracted by how much faster the videos play.
And everyone's sounding like chipmunks.
Well, I don't think it speeds up the wavelengths. To be fair, it just makes them speak faster. They don't get squeakier. Yeah. Still, though, it plays much faster, but people prefer it that way. And it's mind-boggling to me. I'd be too distracted by how fast everything's moving.
I remember having some real fun with these guys.
Who's up next?
Oh, you're still alive.
He face planted. And you know, at the time, I had the feeling that when Nero taunted, the enemy just hit the dirt because they thought he was about to shoot them in the face. That was what I thought when that happened in game. I was laughing my ass off. I'm just like, ah.
I miss the red hands from the demon barriers, the gates.
Yeah.
Like whenever you wrapped it up, you always see like a hand reaching out as it breaks. It's a small thing, but I do miss it.
Yeah. I mean, the effect really only worked though because of the polygonal shattering that the old demon barriers would do, and
yeah,
that wouldn't really work stylistically in this kind of graphical style. So, well, I said that in a repetitive way, but it just wouldn't fit visually. So if they were to bring back the demon hands and the barriers, they would have to rework it in some way.
Yeah.
I do kind of miss it though because it was a very Devil May Cry visual. Like it was part of DMC's aesthetic identity for me for a long time. Okay.
Oh, it's down again. You got hit. Right, they bring these fuckers back.
Yes. The Hell Scissors. At least they don't bring back their exponentially more annoying cousins, the Hell Scythes. The ones that would vanish off screen for minutes at a time and just dive bomb
that's
you.
right, and just dive bomb you.
Yeah, these guys in Devil May Cry 1, once you knew how to deal with them, they were a bit of a joke. Knock their scissors out of the way and then blast them in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's primarily where you're getting the most use out of your shotgun.
Yeah.
You want me to follow you? No way, asshole. You bring that shit to me.
Me when I DoorDash.
I know the feeling all too well, actually. You know, it's even worse when you're doing Amazon deliveries because, like, some places just have the most convoluted delivery requirements. Apartments, especially. Jesus Christ. There should be a special place.
Imagine, yeah.
There should be a special place in hell for apartment landlords who make deliveries that much of a pain in the ass. Bonus points that they have some sort of butterfly whatever control panel that you're supposed to input a code into, but they never give you the fucking code.
So Nora and I in Georgia, we used to live in an apartment complex, and listen, like I do not envy like DoorDash delivery drivers. I know they got to go through a lot of shit. Or just any delivery driver, like for that matter. But fuck me, dude. Like I lost count of the amount of times that they would leave the food at the wrong door.
Yeah.
And I have to manually travel there myself to pick it up. Hopefully the neighbor didn't just take it for themselves.
It's pretty easy to get addresses mixed up, especially because it seems every apartment complex has its own weird numbering scheme. But
Yeah.
But it also depends on what the GPS is like in your given area and whether the delivery service itself uses that to restrict delivery location. Because with Amazon, in a lot of places, there'll be this certain area you have to be inside of to make the delivery. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass because it's in the wrong spot, and I have to get in touch with support and waste a lot of time getting the geofence turned off. But like, oh, there are so many hoops to jump through you wouldn't believe. Okay, so half of the library survived our epic showdown. There aren't a lot of areas like this in the game, and it seems to become less frequent the further you get into the game, but I do like that they have these destructible environments that you can fight in. You might be wondering why the bookshelf textures are so blurry. It's because I'm playing this on PC, and in order to record this while playing it on PC, I did have to dial some of the settings down. So
Yeah, that happens.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're not getting the epic 4K experience at 1440p.
I'm pretty sure they're all the same copies of Harry Potter anyway. It doesn't matter.
What?
I'm pretty sure they're all like repeats of like Harry Potter. That's fine. Nobody cares. Break them.
Uh,
Without strength. Can't
you think a classy library like this would have nothing but the classics from like 200 years ago? But no, it's all Captain Underpants. What the hell?
Hardcover?
Now, every time you find a phone booth like this, you can call Nico, and in every instance of it happening, there's an optional cutscene where Nico arrives.
In which Nico almost kills Nero.
You'd think it's just a fun extra, but it's actually a setup for a touching moment later in the game. Probably the biggest plot twist in the game was that happening, honestly. That the phone booths were themselves a setup for something heartfelt.
Okay, but how was she going to get out of here?
Yeah, well... last time we took this thing to the body shop, she got quite an upgrade, let's just say that.
Where they're going, they don't need roads. But she likes to drive on the roads anyway because it's more fun that way.
More fuel efficient.
Oh, man. Okay, so what next? What am I... Oh, yes, the final Red Queen combo. My favorite Red Queen combo. Which is the one where you just slam your sword down over and over.
Well, you've been doing that already, though.
Yeah, you've had that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe I'm getting my Red Queen A through D's mixed up.
I believe that Red Queen combo is a holdover from 4 as well.
One of the things that happens in the trailer is Nero using the rocket surf to surf around this boss's AoE attacks. And I'm just like, how? Just like, why? And who did what with whom? Speaking of, that's a relevant reference because, you know, Lady and Nero's entire role in this story is badnik flickies. So, like, what the hell? I do like this boss, though.
The bosses are, in general, like across the board, we've already like gone into it a bit, are pretty aces.
Devil May Cry 4 had some pretty great bosses, but between the giant toad Echidna and Burial, they all had a pretty similar approach to how you fought them, in that they were big bosses that had, like, you know, their various movesets, but then you looked for a chance to zoom in with your Devil Bringer and just wail on them. And then you fought them again as Dante and realized, oh god, these bosses really were designed for the Devil Bringer, weren't they? Every boss has a fairly different approach to them in this game, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. It brings me back to the way bosses were designed in Devil May Cry 3, only with less centipede. Yeah, because, like, you know, everyone says Devil May Cry 3 has some of the best bosses in the series, but the centipede sure ain't one. What were they thinking? Ooh. So, what I particularly like about this boss, though, is, you know, it's the lady boss, and it's designed to sort of capitalize on that, because its entire thing is disappearing away at range and firing a variety of ranged attacks at you, exactly the way a lady would do. Meanwhile, you know, Trish's boss is more of a knight. What is with the mermaid motif, though? I'm a little confused by that.
I would say, like, with demons, I think there's no causality or rhyme or reason to their designs outside of the tactics.
Well, I mean,
as you were just getting into.
It's got 6 wings, but it's also got a fishtail, and I'm like, well,
yeah.
Are you a bird or a fish? And the answer is yes.
Yeah. Well, fly fishing.
Fly fishing.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Well, playing as Lady in DMC4 Special Edition was like shooting fish in a barrel.
I recall not liking Lady's design, though, in DMC5, or I might be thinking of 4.
Which design are you thinking of?
The one where they kind of took away some of her, I guess, anime-esque, like, aesthetic, like, I think of her, because, like, DMC3, Lady was just Makoto for Street Fighter 3. But, you know, she had bazookas, and she had guns, and that sort of thing. But I think, like, I'm not sure if it was this game or 4 where they kind of removed, they reworked their facial details. Which, to be fair, they've done for everybody in this game, but I don't like how realistic her proportions are in this, because it loses some of that, like, aesthetic.
Well, I kind of get what you're saying, but I will also point out that in Devil May Cry 3, she did have a very deliberately practical look to her.
Yes.
So
I think that's what it is. I think they try to make her a little too much like a runway model afterwards, and I didn't like that. I missed some of that ruggedness.
Okay, so you're thinking of 4, where she had...
Okay, that's what I might be thinking of.
Where she had, like, the V-neck jacket and stuff, and...
Does she have glasses in that, too, like shades?
Yeah, every female character in 4 was modeled like a Dead or Alive character. It was a bit weird.
Okay.
And it only really worked for Trish.
Dead or Alive as well, because like theatrical physics.
Actually, one of the odd things is that in Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, they redid Lady's voice acting to be more in tune with 5, because in the original release of 4, she had a weirdly seductive direction to her voice delivery.
That's weird.
Which didn't really match with her performance in 3.
Because that's not the kind of character she is.
So close to actually finishing her
they
off.
redid. Ooh, I finally died.
Yeah, this is what you mean, though. So you can use Gold Orb here to revive yourself, but you can also spend Red Orbs to effectively do the same thing. And I think it starts cheap, but gets more expensive the more you die.
Actually, the Red Orb thing is interesting, because you can choose to spend less Red Orbs to revive with less health. So there is there is a risk-reward element to the act of reviving after death. You can revive with a sliver of health in a situation like this and finish the boss off. And it actually feels really rewarding when you manage something like that. It would be cooler if that mechanic wasn't tied to a stupid microtransaction revival mechanic. But, you know, you take the rough with the smooth, as the doctor once said.
What?
Huh?
Nothing. This is a weird fucking colonoscopy.
It's funny where in the game where they dial back the female body proportions to be actually kind of fucking realistic compared to 4. That's the game where they decide to have, like, 2/3 of the female cast end up naked at some point.
I'm gonna have to tell her, man.
Although, you know, it's almost worth it for this one exchange here. One of the other points of contrast between Nero and Dante that I really like is that Nero is actually, you know, kind of a gentleman, whereas Dante would totally just crack wise about a situation like this and be borderline disgusting about it.
Well, also Nero's committed to this one girl, so...
Yeah. It's like, you know, Kirito, I guess, in comparison to every other light novel protagonist ever.
Forever a virgin. Dante.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There's nothing at all in any of these games or any of their associated side stories to suggest that Dante has ever gotten lucky with a woman.
I don't think he's interested. Like, being real.
Well, I mean, he acts like he is, but who knows? Honestly, with Dante, he could just be acting.
Does he? Like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of, like, every time he's, like, conversed with a female hero, villain, otherwise, and maybe you can argue flirtatious, but I don't recall immediately whenever, like, you take the hit on somebody.
Well, when he's talking to or about Lady in 3, he does imply that he's interested in women. And, you know, there is that whole thing with Neven where he's playing along with her seductive act. But with Dante, who knows? He's a dork. He could just be, you know, shooting his mouth off because he has a contractual obligation to always get in an hourly quota of stupid jokes. But, you know, see you all next part, everybody.
While you were maxing out your social links, I studied the Royal Guard.
That explains so much.